Okay, great. Well, my goodness, I am super excited to be joined by the Fukrey 3 team. Two of the people who I have loved and spoken with for so long. That's of course Varun and Richa. So it's great to see you guys. And Pulkit, this is our first interaction. So thank you so much for joining me on
Not the
filmeshilmy.com.
last one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure many to go. All right, well, it's crazy to think that almost a decade ago, this amazing franchise had launched. I mean, if you look back at your journeys from then to now, what would you say has been the biggest growth in you as actors, and how do you feel your comic timing and your streak of comedy has improved? Pulkit, do you want to go first?
How the comic timing in the streak and how feel everything has been very organic. Uh, you know, uh, almost 11 odd years ago, we started shooting Fukrey, and it came out some 10 years ago. We were all very, very raw. We didn't know the nuances. We didn't know exactly what camera angles are. We didn't know exactly how to, we didn't know our strengths also. We didn't know our weaknesses also. And over the years, we kind of understood organically, ki, acha, okay, this is my weakness. This is my strength. I need to work a little more on this, work, and shine my strengths a little more. And eventually, we have reached a point where today, as a team, I can say this on everybody's behalf. As a team, we can understand each other's silences and we can complete each other's sentences. And on the set, we exactly know what is the timing coming of the other person and what to throw at them. It's when two maestros meet at the tennis court, they both know if the other person is gonna serve, they know this is the kind of serve that will come, and this is the attack I have to be ready with, or the defense that I have to be ready with. So we now have that very unusual, very organic sync between us,
Mhm.
where and that is where the magic of comic timing happens. We do not stress too much about throwing a punch or landing a joke. It just happens because everybody is in sync and we all know the beat of every particular sentence or a dialogue that we are throwing out. And
Sure.
it just I think with everybody growing together and knowing each other for so long, much better than a family as well. It just does magic on the set.
Right. Sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Pulkit. That was wonderful to hear. Varun, I think for you, I mean, Chucha for me is the soul of Fukrey. I mean, of course, don't get me wrong, all of the characters are brilliant, and they're all wonderful, including, of course, my favorite Bholi Punjaban as well. But for me, Chucha is such a quirky, fun character. I mean, he reminds me of that character. I forgot his name in The Simpsons, who says these random things. He's like a kid. I forgot that character. He reminds me so much of him. So I think for you, as an actor, because you've gone through so much, I think not just as an artist, but as even in life as well. So when you were playing Chucha in this third installment, how did that differ to when you first played him 10 years back?
So when we started off with Fukrey, I was about 22 years old when we started rolling for the film, and it was my debut film. It was a start to my career. So all of us were absolutely very raw. We didn't have knowledge about anything about how the technical side of it. We were just having fun. We were just excited. Like I can say for that for myself that I was just an excited kid who wanted to become an actor, come on a film poster, be in films. So I got this opportunity with the biggest of the makers, and I was just an excited kid. Absolutely had no knowledge about it. Obviously, in the past 10 years, a lot of maturity has happened as an individual. A lot of experience has happened with the films that I've done, the work that I've done. Mentally, you kind of evolved. There's a lot of learning that's happened. And but in the story for Chucha, for Fukre, where we left the first one, we started off the second one. And third one is also an extension of the second one. So that's where, we kind of started off again. So the rawness and the innocence and the whole thing is of the same which was there in the first one. So for me, I think the biggest prep for me was to unlearn the past 10 years of life that's happened for me, to unlearn that past 10 years of
Mhm.
experience that I've kind of gained and go back to being as raw and as as amateur as I was, and so that was my process. And I think whatever you see of Chucha or whatever you see of all the Fukrays, I think the biggest credit goes to Mrigdeep Singh Lamba, who's a director,
Hmm.
because he's the OG Fukra of all, and he gets the characters out in us, through some magic. So yeah, unlearning was the process for me to kind of go back to
All right. Well, I think the one thing that I find quite interesting as the character growth, I think, is Bholi Punjaban. I mean, my goodness, the fact that she's fighting for politics, I think, standing up for elections, I think in this third installment is rather interesting. So, Richa, I think for you, the one thing that I really loved about the way you've portrayed her over the years is, again, there's that seriousness that you bring, that intensity. She's fierce, but at the same time, she also has this very quick comical takes on things. So, what would you say has really helped you to balance that switch between both shades of the character?
There's no real shade as such. I think it's she just is sarcastic. Her humor is sarcastic. It's very deadpan. It's kind of like she's always making fun of someone. She always holds herself really high above the other person in terms of intelligence or stature. And she just these are different shades to her personality. So there's really no switch. Like her rage also comes out like sarcasm, and her humor also comes out like sarcasm. And when she's not sarcastic, and when she really wants to mess with you, she's actually not speaking. She's doing something, like she's getting you set on fire or something, you know. So I
Yeah.
think it's a very
Just
interesting character.
just a usual day at work.
Just a work impaired, like a hurdle rate. It's a bit of a problem. But yeah, that's what she is, and she definitely is one of my favorite characters. And I know that a lot of people also love Bholi because she's just so badass.
Yeah, and I think Fukrey is so iconic, I think, in Hindi comedy film history, because I feel like when this franchise evolved or began, it was actually during that phase where uh I don't want to use the word small town, but perhaps the less urban city culture of films and storytelling were emerging. I mean, we had Ban Baja Barat just a few years before, Tanu Weds Manu, films like that, they were emerging, and that's when Fukrey came out. And that was such a rare thing because when we had Andaz Apna Apna as well, I mean, back in the 90s, that also kind of touched a bit on that sort of a landscape, but I feel this really cemented it. But I think now, given that we're seeing this really interesting fusion where we're seeing the Aam Janta, the common person, having that voice on a more mainstream level, how do you feel Fukrey has given more confidence to other filmmakers to really risk and perhaps go ahead with such styles of comedies? Pulkit?
Um, you actually put it across in a very correct manner.
Hmm.
That Fukrey actually opened up the doors for a very new way of writing a comedy in the Hindi film industry. In a way that it suddenly became about writing a slice of life comedy. It became more conversational. It became more. Became less of a gag reel and relied more on the character driven comedy, the situation driven comedy. And that is what the forte of Fukrey is. It is not about that somebody's slipping on a banana peel. It is about the tragedy that is happening with these characters, and even the nemesis is quite quirky. And these characters are actually lifted and picked up from real life influences, in the sense that not like true stories, but every person has a chucha in their life. Every person has a honey in their life. You definitely must be having somebody like a Bholi in your life. So we all have these kind of characters around us and or within us, and the innocence and the rawness of these characters is what connected with the audiences. So a lot of people got the confidence that, yeah, we have been trying to write something of this sort and people were not buying it. Now that these people have done this and Excel has able to crack it and sell it to a market and show to people are accepting it, maybe we can also give it a chance. And that opened the doors for a lot of other films that became a slice of life comedy genre.
Hmm. And I think a very interesting perspective, like you shared here, Pulkit, actually, I would like to put this question to Varun and Richa, is again the fact that there's tragedies going on, but yet they deal with it with such humor. Now, someone like me doesn't take to tragedies very well, I mean, as naturally as it sounds, but I would love to know actually how you both, as artists, how has doing a film like this really taught you the art or that understanding that dichotomy of a sad incident in your life or a horrible thing in your life, but then dealing it with it in humor. How have you learned the art of doing that after doing such a film? Richard, do you want to go first, and then we'll go to Varun?
I think that I actually don't see the need to deal with tragedy with humor. If it's a tragedy, it's a tragedy, bro. You're gonna cry. You're gonna get your heart broken, gonna feel sad, gonna be depressed. It's natural. If there's a tragedy in your life, if you've lost someone you love, or you've just been dumped, or you lost a film you really wanted, or you're broke, you're gonna be sad about it.
Yeah.
So I never try to manipulate my feelings. If I'm feeling sad, I really मैं माहौल बनाती हूँ. If I'm feeling sad, I let people know around me that look, I'm feeling sad. You have to leave me alone. And I go with the sadness and I feel like the full extent of my sadness. And then I'm fine the next day. I think human beings repress their feelings. They're like, oh, why am I feeling so sad? You never ask yourself, why am I feeling so happy? But when you're sad, you have all these questions. Oh, I'm so sad today, as if you can't be sad. Sometimes
Yeah.
sadness is an indication. Do you work
Mm.
out?
Yeah, I go walking and stuff, and sometimes I go gym
So,
also.
so imagine if you lift heavy or if you go for a run, okay, and you're telling yourself no pain, no gain, but your body is giving you like knee pain when you're doing a fast sprint. That pain is a sign that something's not okay. That pain is a sign that your knee is bending in an inorganic way or it's not natural and you're going to get a really bad injury. So if you ignore that pain, thinking no pain, no gain, then you're just not very smart.
True. Yeah. Yeah. No.
So I
Rightly
feel
said.
like pain, sadness, these are all things that are signs of the body. If pain is sign of the body for something that is causing you bodily pain, then sadness is something that causes you either anger or like your repressed sadness. It's a sign from your soul. You can't
Mm.
ignore it. You have to, if it's tragic, man. So what? This is life.
For sure. No, CD Baat, no Mazak. And that's one thing I love about Richard. Thank you for sharing that. But Varun, I think for you as well, I think rather than asking this question, actually, just a last question I wanted to ask you. I think, again, because this was, like you said, this was your first film and, having this experience of playing such a iconic character, how do you feel like it's encouraged as well a lot of fresh actors in the industry, and given how do you feel it's also given them that confidence that what, it may take time, but it is all
Yeah.
about the role and all of that. How do you feel it's inspired them, do you think?
I think I've been having this conversation very recently with a very dear friend of mine, and we're just really chatting about it. I think Fukrey as a film, has given a lot of hope and a lot of that thing that like we are all a prodigy of auditions, plain simple auditions. We've been rejected, we've been giving a lot of auditions. Somewhere was working out, doesn't work out. Fukre for me happened just purely on the basis of auditions. Like a guy from an auditions can be on a film poster of the banner which has made films like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, Dil Chahta Hai, Rock On, and such an esteemed banner. And also it gives a lot of hope that it is okay not to you like what used to bother me a lot when I was also auditioning that time. काफी लोग मुझे ये बोलते थे भाई कि अरे यार मैं एक बार ना पूरा फिट हो जाऊं, मेरे सिक्स पैक आ जाए फिर मैं ऑडिशन पे जाऊंगा. That it is not always important to have the perfect physique. A chucha with six packs will not be a chucha. you know it is like that's a character trait which has become for chucha. So just be happy with whatever shape, size you are in, and go for it. Like, don't miss out on opportunity to go out there for auditions, because you never know what is written in whichever manner and where it can land you. So just consistency of that things. It does not have to be always perfect. You don't have to
Hmm.
be always perfect for that thing that you have to go and kind of go test for the part and XYZ, because you never know what's written where. And it's films like Fukrey, it's films like Vasepur, it's films like Panchnama, where you know there's such diverse talents which are kind of getting a chance to showcase their talent and giving hope and aspiration to so many other people that you can
Mm.
just come here and through that process you can kind of crack it and make it. And so yeah, that's about it. It's really nice here, and I think it's very welcoming. Anuj, I feel the entire
Mm.
industry wants, it's the streamlining of that system of auditions and casting directors and the process, how it's got streamlined. I think it's really beautiful the way it's like kind of shaping up, and there's so many people getting a chance to work and showcase their talent in all
Yeah.
diverse fields, whether it's acting, music, direction, anything.
Yeah, and it's great as well because Pulkit, I used to watch you on Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, man. So to see you sort of like doing great work on films, I was like, oh my God, this is so iconic. So it was really great to see
I
all of
have
you,
I,
really.
I've taken Pulkit's audition. I've taken Pulkit's audition
Yeah,
when I was
he's
casting.
auditioned me.
When I've
Wow.
auditioned him. So I was behind the camera taking his audition and giving him cues. And we never know that we're gonna be doing film together and there's gonna be a bond like that and all that. So
Wow.
you never know. Never say never.
Brilliant. The universe has its ways of working. But on that note, a huge thank you to Varun, Pulkit, and Richa for joining me on
Thank you.
filmishilmy.com. And congratulations on Fukrey 3. I can't wait to
Thank you.
watch it and enjoy it and have a good laugh.
Lovely.
Yes, watch
Yeah,
it.
Thank you.
will.
Lovely.
All right.
Thank
Thank
The
you,
you.
UK is
guys.
a huge
Thank
market
you.
for us, so do your best.
We will definitely, for sure, Richa, for sure. All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks
Thanks,
a lot,
Anand.
Anuj.
All right.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.